Good morning. It is about 6:30. It's still pitch black out. The sun is just starting to rise. And this morning, gonna do a little bit of bass fishing. But we got a hike to take to get to the pond we want to fish at, probably like 2 miles maybe. So we're gonna knock a hike out in the pitch black to kind of get to the pond before the sun comes up, hopefully. But it should be a beautiful morning. I shouldn't say that. It's gonna be extremely overcast. The past week here in Florida, we've just been getting rained on non-stop, and it's been hard to fish, really. I haven't been able to get out much at all because early in the mornings and then in the afternoons it's just raining non-stop. So hopefully we'll be able to get on some fish this morning before the rain comes down, but just gotta get at it. Just listen to this real quick. This is frogs right here. That's insane. Alright, we're at our first spot. I have a frog tied on right now, but I'm probably going to put on a popper. But I'm going to shoot a time lapse with this camera and hop on the GoPro and hopefully get into some fish. Water to my right, I'm not pointing the camera that way because the sun's coming straight across the water, so you wouldn't even be able to see me, but on the water to my right there's a big head of needle grass across the way, about 30 yards away from me, and I know there's fish on it because I've seen them hitting, and I've tried throwing a frog, a popper, a swim bait, and there's not hitting, so I'm kind of just running through the tackle box right now trying to figure out what they want to eat. And right now I've put on a purplish black curly tail worm right there with I think a 3/16 ounce lead on the top. And so we're going to throw this over and just slowly drag it and see if we can find one of those fish that are over there, because they look pretty sizable too. So we're going to see if we can get one of those off of that head. There's a fish. Feels like a good one too. Not really, but keep him out of the mud. Alright, first fish right there. Not a huge one. Not a big one at all, really, but he came right on this Texas rig worm. So we got a pattern now. It's a little, probably almost 1 pound. He's a little tiny fish, but you know, we know what they're going to bite now, that purple worm, so we're going to stay with that and see if we can catch maybe a bigger fish and work on sizing up now that we got one. Finally got something. You know, fishing a Texas rig worm, sometimes it's not the most exciting technique, but when it gets rough, it works out really well. A lot of times it can really find those tough to bite fish that are kind of being finicky. And that bite though, when you finally do get a bite on a Texas rig, it's so distinct that thump, thump, thump. It's awesome though. And you can catch some really great fish fishing a Texas rig worm. You know, I'm sure you guys seen Bama Bass, that guy. He throws big giant 12-inch worms, about all he throws, and he catches, he's not all he throws, but he throws them a lot and catches just absolute giants on them. So they definitely work. But sometimes it's not super exciting, but if you put your time in, you can catch some good fish on them. I can see a bass, multiple bass sitting here. They're not very big, but Oh god, that was cool. Flip them out of the pipe like that. Small one. That's crazy that this small fish is willing to hit. Hit such a big worm. Okay, unhooked. Like, let me give you a size comparison here and how aggressive bass are. There's my worm, there's fish. They're literally about the same exact size right there. Alright, just put that little guy in head first. Alright, 2 fish. Still looking to size up though, because that was even smaller than the last. There's a nice cypress head across the way from me right now, right there that I'm zoomed in on, and so it's got a lot of fallen logs in the water, grass all around it, so I'm going to see if we can maybe pull off a few bass off that head with our Texas big worm we've been using. Oh, that was a bite, I freaking missed it. Dang. That was a good thump. Alright, closing out the day, starting my walk back to the car. I was hoping to see some deer, and I haven't seen any, but it's alright. I'm going to kind of break down before I head in what I was using today. So, I was using a 7-foot St. Croix Tidemaster rod. It's a medium action, paired with a 4000 Shimano Stradic right there with 20-pound braid across. And then I was actually using a 30-pound fluorocarbon leader, which isn't necessary when bass fishing, but I just like using leader, you know. I just always use it while saltwater fishing, so I just kind of grown accustomed to always having one attached to my rod at all times. You know, if I'm flipping in like really heavy cover, and typically when frogging I won't use a leader when it's in really thick stuff, but when I'm using Texas rigs, swim baits, I'll put a leader on. It doesn't hurt. But that's what I was rigged up with today. And typically I like to use bait casters, you know, when I'm bass fishing. Actually, I really prefer to use a bait caster when I'm bass fishing because you just have so much more control over your bait, over your cast, everything. But I don't have the greatest bait casting equipment, you know, and my saltwater gear, my spinning tackle is pretty good quality, you know. I have Stradic and a St. Croix, and so I end up just favoring towards my spinning gear a lot more just because it's a little nicer and a little more, I don't know, user friendly in a sense where I don't really have a lot of problems with it. So that's why I use a lot of spinning gear even when I'm freshwater fishing. But you know, once I have enough money, I'm sure I'm gonna load out on bait casters and rods and have a different bait caster for every single style, for frogs, swim baits, pitching, all that good stuff. But that's what the setup was today. You know, it worked well, caught a few bass, and having a longer rod when fishing a pond from the bank is pretty critical, honestly, because it helps you cover that extra distance where, you know, when you're bank fishing, you can't always get to all the good spots, but if you have a longer rod, that's really going to help you cover further distance and find more fish. So that's that for today. Gonna keep walking back. Maybe we'll see some deers or coyotes or rakins. Who knows? On my way in now. You know, this morning it was alright. It wasn't a killer morning, but it was nice to just get out and hike a little bit and catch a few fish. Walking back in the woods, it's always very beautiful and very fun. This week's been rough, you know. These past 5 days, I should say. We've had a tropical storm off the coast of Florida, and just every day it's just been terrible weather, really nasty rain and thunder, and it's been really hard to get out in the water and film lately. You know, I don't mind fishing in the rain, but I can't bring my cameras out in the rain, so it's just been difficult. The boat, you know, it's been out of commission for 3 days now because we have to change the oil filter on it, and then we went to West Marine, and they don't carry the oil filter we need for our boat because it's too new of a model, I guess, so we had to order oil filters from a Yamaha dealership, and now we have to change them, and which is not a big deal. It just takes extra time, really, is all it is. But it's been a good morning. I hope you guys enjoy the footage. Until next time, peace.